My name is Wenjia Xu, and for my senior distinction I am doing a violin recital and also a composition as well. My violin recital consists of pieces from my earlier studies on the violin. My composition is modeled after the periodic table of elements. I take each element, starting out with hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, the most essential elements to life, and I assign an interval to each element. And from there on, I build certain molecules using those elements. Hydrogen, for example. Hydrogen has an atomic number of 1. I sort of assigned it to have an interval of a major second, which sometimes can become a minor second as well. I can have the violin go A and then B natural. And then the bass, so let's say we can have the cello sort of mirror that with an E and a D. So that will move downwards. And then maybe the second violin can go up. And then the viola can finish it with a similar motion as the cello. And that's hydrogen. Music has always been sort of a part of my life. I've sort of had 2 lives, the academic life and the music life as well. I think it's helped me be more creative in life in general. I think it's provided me a very different outlook on life, and I attribute a lot of that to Professor Xiaomei. For my first lesson, when I went in and I played, I start out the piece, and she stops me and she says, "Now play with rhythm." And I was a little bit confused because I thought that was somewhat rhythmically correct, so I played it again, and she's saying, "You still don't have rhythm." And I sort of asked her what she meant, and she's like, "You're technically rhythmically correct, but you don't have a sense of where you're going." And she's sort of taught me to take a step back and look at the big picture and not focus on the very tiny technical details, but look at what the music means and where it's supposed to be going. That in a lot of ways has carried over to my academic life as well, and sort of not just focusing on homework or problem sets or studying very little things, but look at the big picture and seeing how it relates to life, how it relates to how things work. So if we wanted to create something that's more complex, let's say adenine, for example, how would I create something like that? And first I'm going to look at the molecular structure of this molecule. What I've done is I've isolated this 5-member ring structure and this 6-member ring. So for the 5-member ring, I have, starting from the base, we have a nitrogen, followed by a carbon, nitrogen, carbon, carbon. So this describes the first rings. I have a perfect 5th, perfect 4th, 5th, 4th, 4th. Let's say my starting note is A, and I go down a 5th. I end up at D. And then a 4th down from A would be E. So this entire structure here describes adenine. Because adenine is normally paired with thymidine, I'll have to create a separate motif for that, and I sort of link these together. These notes actually coincide with the hydrogen bonds that adenine forms with thymidine in the DNA section. Since it's written for string quartet, it conveniently has 4 parts, so what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have the phosphate group start out here, followed by the sugar. And this is attached to, let's say, adenine, which is attached to thymidine, which is attached to another sugar. Sort of what would you end up with is something that looks like this. And here you have the sugars. You can see the oxygen, the carbon here, and you have adenine here, which is paired with thymidine. So here you have the sugar, followed by the phosphate group here. Now, in between you have adenine and thymidine. You can see that it goes from A up to a B flat, B natural, C, and then back down to a B flat and A. So it sort of goes in a wave, while the opposing voices go in a opposite wave, to create sort of this audio representation of DNA.